Would you drink this?
No. Would you? No.
Why not?
Because it doesn't look clear, clean.
It doesn't look so good.
If you told me it was lemonade, I might take a sip. But
This is drinking water.
No.
Some Iowans are drinking water just like that and don't know what's really in it. Thousands of Iowans, mostly in rural areas, rely on private wells for drinking water. But no one regularly monitors what is in that water.
And tests show private wells often contain chemicals and other contaminants that can be dangerous to health. KCRG TV9's chief investigative reporter Josh Scheinblum has spent weeks digging into a story and has uncovered information some might find very concerning.
Just take a look at this. This is a water sample that I took from one man's kitchen faucet just this past month. Over time, we've noticed it's gradually gotten darker, and since we collected it, you can even see little tiny specks of brown things floating inside the container. We looked to see what may be going on here and discovered the homeowner who has water that looks like this is not the only one in eastern Iowa who has water issues. In the small town of Edgewood, Iowa, there's an area where the water flows, but neighbors don't drink what comes out of the faucet. Some are convinced consuming this life-sustaining element would be detrimental to their health.
I would think that this ought to be kind of everyone's number one concern out there.
Farmer Rick Gudenkoff is one of those people. Over the summer, he says more than 30 of his animals died after drinking his well water.
It was to the point where nobody could really figure out where my problem was at the beginning.
I've got that tattooed right on there.
7th degree Taekwondo black belt Bob McDowell is another. He lives right next door to Rick. His water, he says, has been suspect to say the least for the last 4 years.
And you can see that it turns yellow as it sits. And this is what it should look like.
Both Bob and Rick get their water from private wells, and as it turns out, they may have reason to worry. Tests found water in the area that is known to have high nitrate levels, a chemical some studies suggest can cause cancer and in infants, death.
My goal would be that everyone that drinks water out of a private well has that well tested at least once a year.
Russ Tell is the private well specialist for the Department of Natural Resources. Russ says he's received many reports over the years from Iowans concerned their well water is causing them health problems.
What I hear is the same thing you would hear, where someone in the area has a cancer and they haven't necessarily had cancer in their extended family, and they're trying to figure out where it comes from. And the water is just one of the things that is scrutinized.
High nitrate levels can occur naturally in the environment from things like erosion, but they can also happen because of fertilizer runoff, septic tanks leaking, even sewage. While around 288,000 Iowans rely on private wells, well water quality in Iowa is unregulated. If well water is tested or not is entirely up to the well owner themselves. In practice, that translates to only about 6% of wells being tested every year. The EPA recommends wells not exceed 45 milligrams per liter in nitrates. So TV9 News looked at 7 counties in eastern Iowa to see the scope of the problem. We looked at tests counties performed and found 165 wells tested in 2016 alone were above the EPA's nitrate guidelines. In Delaware County, where Rick and Bob live, there were 84, the highest on our list. And in case you're wondering, one of Rick's wells tested in 2015 came back 3 times higher than what the EPA suggests.
He was telling me about his high nitrates and everything. That's the first I ever got thinking about what am I sitting on? What's underneath me?
Which brings us back to Bob. Around the same time Rick's animals had died,
that was my birthday present to me.
He was diagnosed with cancer. He's the first, he says, in his family to come down with the disease.
I've never smoked in my life. I did used to drink, but I quit in '94. As you can see, I watch my weight. You know, you can look in there. I eat very healthy. I work out. It just blew my mind when the doctor said I had cancer.
When we sat down with Bob, he told us the only water test he'd ever done was with a strip, the results of which appeared to indicate nitrates were present. He'd never had his well water tested at a lab, though.
It'll probably look like lemonade when you get back to town, but don't be drinking it.
So we thought we'd do it for him. transporting water samples ourselves from his kitchen faucet to the State Hygienic Laboratory at the University of Iowa. They tested for both bacteria and nitrates. The results? His water is safe to drink. Nitrates were less than 1 milligram per liter. Still, Russ with DNR cautions Bob may not want to rejoice just yet.
Do you think that if we had done the test at a different time of year, we may have gotten different results?
It's absolutely possible.
You guys thirsty?
Bob says whatever our results found, he'd be limiting his consumption of yellow water. So for now, his future involves more questions and opening up lots and lots of bottles.
You couldn't make me drink my water.
Let's be clear. Officials with DNR strongly recommend private well owners get their water tested at least once a year. And just because the water isn't colored that you have, it doesn't mean that there isn't a problem. All you have to do to get your water tested is call your local county sanitarian and arrange for a sample to be taken. Now, many tests can even be done for free through a state program called Grants to Counties. And to find out how to get in touch with your county sanitarian, we've placed a link where you can do so on our website. That's at kcrg.com. For now, we're in studio. Josh Scheinblum, KCRG, TV 9 News.